Hello students, this video is for Miss Cento's class. She was a wonderful student of ours not too long ago, and we still miss her echoing laughter down the halls, but hope you all get to enjoy her amazingness like we did. So she asked me to do a quick video on what it's like to be a chef. So I will do that. My name is Mark Molinaro. And I live in Flagstaff, Arizona, so we have beautiful, cool weather outside right now, and all the trees are blooming beautifully up here at NAU. And so another thing you wanted me to go over was the career. And so what do you do is like someone who wears this kind of outfit? Well, you work hard, you do a lot of repetitive tasks, so you'll be cutting a lot of the same things day after day. But you can do that in so many different ways. You can cook food for people in need. So if you have a passion for helping other people, you can go find a place to go help people and cook for them. That's a wonderful gift that you can do. Right now, a lot of the hospitals and nurses, the caregivers, and first responders are needing a lot of help. There are so many chefs and restaurants right now that are taking their skills and delivering them for those folks. You can also work with folks who have medical conditions. So if you have a special desire to go work with people with heart disease or have maybe something nutritionally like diabetes, you could work in that area. You can be an advocate. So let's say you want to make school lunches better. Why don't you make that part of your life mission? Go out and advocate for great whole food in our schools. There's so many things you can do with food. You can start your own company. You can start your own restaurant. You could be a food advocate. You can be so many different, you could be a private chef. You could be a teacher, which is what I ended up doing. So my background is I started working in hotels in Boston and San Francisco and New York City and a few other places. And I loved it, just being in these wonderful places. But then as you get older, you start to think a little bit differently about what's important to you. So I ended up transitioning to becoming a teacher, which I love, but also being able to cook, which I love. So it really combines two of my favorite passions, which are people and food. So I'm very blessed, I'm very fortunate to be able to have a career that I get to combine two of my favorite things, which is something I would also suggest you think about. So something else that Ms. Cento asked me to touch on was how do we incorporate STEAM into what we do here at NAU's HRM program. So I just kind of pulled some things and I was like, just grab stuff that I have. Some of this stuff you probably have at your house. So we use science, technology, engineering, and math in a lot of different areas. In almost everything we do, we're involving those skills. The science aspect comes in play when we're cooking and applying heat and applying seasoning and applying color development into products. So there's a lot of science behind how food works, food chemistry. There's a lot of technology we use in the kitchen. I just brought out some things that I had on hand. We use a lot very precise measuring tools to measure temperature. We also use very sensitive tools to measure weight. So those are two of the things. We have other things we use, but I didn't want to get too technical with our ovens and things like that that can actually cook overnight and clean themselves. There's a whole computer inside that oven that can cook a product to the exact same doneness every single time. Pretty amazing. But I wanted to keep it simple for this video. Some other things we do in terms of math, I use a lot of math in the kitchen. I usually have a calculator handy to go over how do I make money in the kitchen? How can I be very efficient in the kitchen? So some of the tools we use for that, believe it or not, this is one of our best math tools in the kitchen. This is my chef's knife. And the ability to process and cut foods properly and accurately has a big impact in the bottom line of the money that you paid for your product versus what you do to it and then you sell it to a guest. So using a knife, everything you take off is something less that's going in the guest's mouth. So you have to think like that. Things like portion scoops, right? Food cost control. How do you account for everything you're serving? And then measuring things out. You probably have these at home, and maybe you won't look at them differently. You'll look at them a little bit differently now. But the way we measure things is very, very important. Imagine if you're baking something and you measured wrong. Now you not only wasted time, but you wasted all the ingredients as well. So there's a lot of controls we have in place. Other things we have that we use, kind of sciencey, believe it or not, salt and pepper. There is a lot of science and interesting information behind why we use these. So if you want to find out more, come on over to HRM and then we'll show you how all this stuff works. But there is a lot of science behind using salt and other chemicals in the kitchen like baking soda and baking powder and different yeast, different things like that, how bread works. So many interesting science things. And then the last one I want to touch on, because we're in this very strange time with the coronavirus, one thing that's really important in the kitchen is how we're moving forward with safety and sanitation. So I brought some other chemicals over that you probably have some of this at home, but in the kitchen it's really important to work safely. Using gloves and a hat and a mask when you're cooking is going to be very important as we go on. So there, I just wanted to share a few things for you in your career. I love being in this industry. I have met some amazing people, and I just wish you all the brightest future. And if I can help you in any way, please contact Miss Cento, and she can share my contact information. I'm happy to be of assistance if you're interested in coming into the kitchen. All right, take care, everyone.